Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're not just reading a story. We're stepping into something much darker, a nightmare, really.
Yeah, okay.
We're plunging into a truly arresting passage from Franz Kafka's The Trial. It's a chapter simply called The Thrasher.
Aptly named.
Our mission, if you choose to accept it, is to follow Kay, a man already kind of tangled up in this baffling legal process as he stumbles upon this hidden, pretty harrowing scene right within his own workplace.
Yeah, the bank of all places.
Right. It's an encounter that's going to force him, I think, to confront the dark underbelly of the very system holding him captive. It pushes him right to the edge of his own conscience.
And what's so striking about this chapter, is how it just distills Kafka's entire world into one brutal, contained moment. This isn't just like physical violence we're talking about.
No, it's more than that.
It's a stark, visceral illustration of that arbitrary, absolute nature of the bureaucracy that defines the trial. So as we navigate Kay's experience, think about how he starts as this unwitting observer.
Just happens upon it.
Exactly. But then gets inextricably drawn into its mechanisms. And it reveals these really uncomfortable truths about individual responsibility, about complicity, truths that echo far beyond just this book. It genuinely asks, what do you do when you're faced with inescapable injustice?
Okay, let's unpack this. Our journey begins one evening. Kay's finishing up his day at the bank.
Routine stuff?
He's walking down a corridor, maybe one of the last people there, when he hears these groans coming from behind a door.
And not just any door.
No, it was one he'd always assumed, like those forgotten spaces in old buildings. He figured it just led to a lumber room, junk storage.
We all know those rooms.
But tonight, that assumption is shattered by the sounds. His curiosity, or maybe some kind of instinct he can't ignore, it gets the better of him. He says he literally flung open the door.
Wow. So no hesitation.
An impulsive act, yeah. A direct intrusion into this hidden world.
And the scene he finds is just pure Kafka. Utterly mundane, yet profoundly disturbing.
It is a lumber room, like you thought.
Right, the floor is covered in old, out-of-date printed forms and empty earthenware ink bottles.
Oh!
The sheer banality of it all, there's this dusty storage space being used for this. It immediately signals how institutional evil can just embed itself in the most ordinary places.
Yeah, hidden in plain sight.
Illuminated by just one candle, Kay sees three men. One, clearly the enforcer, stands out. He's got this dark leather outfit which left his arms and much of his chest completely bare, and he's holding a cane.
The Thrasher.
The Thrasher. And the other two, they're the guards, Franz and Villa. Kay recognizes them instantly from his own arrest. So this isn't just a dusty room. It's a chamber of impending state-sanctioned violence.
And the moment Kay appears, the guards react immediately. Their pleas just echo this desperate panic,
Oh, yeah.
They cry out, "Sir, we're going to be given a thrashing because you complained about us to the examining magistrate." Kay, sort of scrambling, denies making a formal complaint.
He tries to clarify.
Yeah, he says he only said what had happened in my apartment, though he does admit their behavior wasn't exactly irreproachable either. It's a quick, almost reflexive deflection, but it doesn't seem to matter.
And this is where we get our first real glimpse into the twisted logic of Kafka's court. How does Kay's casual report, not even a formal complaint, translate so directly, so brutally, into immediate punishment for these guys?
It's baffling.
Willem quickly tries to explain their dire situation, pleading with Kay. He talks about their badly paid work, families to feed, France wanting to get married.
Humanizing details.
Right. He even admits taking Kay's fine linen was a temptation, but then he delivers this chilling justification. Anyway, what can such things mean to someone who is so unfortunate as to be arrested? And then, if, however, someone makes it public, then punishment must follow.
Wow. So the act itself is almost secondary.
It suggests that in this system, the act matters less than its disclosure. The shame isn't in the transgression, it's in getting caught, in making it known.
So it's not about guilt like we understand it, but about maintaining this facade of order. And Franz, even after taking a hit from the cane, he backs Willem up.
Yeah, he jumps in.
Repeats that their careers are finished only because Kay reported them. He's lamenting their lost chances of becoming thrashers, like this man here. He actually says that otherwise nothing would have happened even if they'd found out what we'd done.
It's just a chilling insight, isn't it? Into a system where transparency, bringing things to light, is the ultimate sin rather than the actual injustice.
Absolutely. And the Thrasher himself. He represents the court's unyielding, dehumanizing authority. He's totally dismissive of their pleas.
Utterly. He coldly states their punishment is as just as it is inevitable. He even tells Kay not to believe the guard's feeble-minded excuses, saying it's just fear talking.
He shuts down any empathy.
And what's really unsettling is how he uses this intimate, almost gossipy knowledge to discredit them, like mentioning Willem being fat from eating the breakfast of all those he
Oh,
arrests.
that's nasty.
And then concludes, definitively, a man with a belly like that can never become a Thrasher. It's out of the question. His authority feels absolute, derived from the very system that dehumanizes everyone in it, even its own enforcers.
That casual cruelty is just, it's chilling. He even brushes Willem's neck with the cane, just pure intimidation to get him to get undressed, not listening. It's not about reason or process, it's just raw, unfeeling power.
Indeed. And if we step back, the Thrasher isn't just some guy doing a job. He embodies the court's rigid, unfeeling decrees. His function is simply to carry out orders. No questions asked, no context needed.
A cog in the machine.
Exactly. He's a stark contrast to Kay's own developing, though maybe flawed, sense of justice. It's a profound commentary on how power gets distributed and enacted through individuals who just see themselves as, well, cogs in a larger, unquestionable machine. This character strips away any pretense of human-centered justice. It's just mechanical, inevitable.
And Kay, faced with this horror, he actually tries to intervene. Makes a desperate attempt.
He does try something.
He tries to pay the Thrasher to let the guards go, offers him money, saying, "I'd pay you well." It's described as this fraught transaction handled with eyes lowered on both sides, which really hints at the sort of dirty nature of the deal.
Like they both know it's wrong, somehow.
Yeah. And Kay explicitly states his moral view. "I don't consider them guilty. It's the organization that's guilty, the senior officials." He even provocatively suggests he'd pay the Thrasher to hit one of the senior judges. He's challenging the whole hierarchy. What do you make of Kay trying to use money here and blaming the organization?
Well, Kay's attempt to bribe him, it's such a fascinating human reflex, isn't it? He's trying to apply this transactional logic, something understandable, to a power structure that's completely arbitrary and illogical.
Trying to make it make sense.
Exactly. He's imposing his own moral framework.
Mm-hmm.
Guilt, responsibility, maybe a financial workaround, onto a system that plays by its own inscrutable, unbending rules.
Yeah.
But the Thrasher just rejects the bribe, states it plainly. I'm employed as a Thrasher, so I'll thrash it.
Guilt stuff.
It's a complete impasse of worldviews. Kay sees an injustice that maybe money can fix. The Thrasher sees only his duty. It really highlights Kay's desperate need for some kind of control in a system where he clearly has none.
And just as that kind of moral and practical standoff happens, France makes this final heartbreaking appeal. He kneels, whispers to Kay, begs to be spared, at least him.
The desperation is palpable.
He makes this tragic plea, claiming Willem is older than me and less sensitive, and then the gut punch. He says his poor fiancé's waiting outside the bank to see what happens. He even uses Kay's coat to dry his tears of shame. It's just raw human desperation against this faceless machine.
Absolutely. It's like the last flicker of humanity in a place totally devoid of it. But the Thrasher doesn't wait. He grabs the cane, starts laying in the fronds, and then comes a scream.
Oh, the description.
Yeah, it's described in such visceral detail. One unchanging, uninterrupted scream that didn't sound as if it came from a human being, but from some tortured instrument. The whole corridor echoed with it. The whole building must have heard it. That imagery just sticks with you. It transforms a human cry of pain into something mechanical, dehumanized.
Like the system itself is torturing an object, not a person.
Precisely.
So, given that harrowing sound and Kay's earlier attempts to stop it, what does Kay actually do when faced with the full, raw horror of the violence? His previous moral outrage just seems to vanish.
It does, completely.
Yeah.
His immediate reaction is just panic and self-preservation. He hears messengers approaching down the corridor.
Oh, right, the timing.
Yeah, the sudden appearance of these messengers triggers this rapid, almost instinctual act from Kay. He pushes France, not hard, but hard enough to knock him to the ground, then quickly slams the door shut.
Covers it up.
And lies to the approaching messengers. Calls out, "No, it's just a dog howling in the courtyard." Then he leans out a nearby window, pretending to be uninterested, to avoid talking to them further. It's a clear, swift evasion. His own safety, his reputation, suddenly override everything else.
Wow.
This is Kafka at his most cynical, maybe, about human courage when facing overwhelming power.
So he witnesses this unimaginable brutality, and his first instinct is to hide it, even pushing the victim down. But he doesn't just act. He starts rationalizing pretty quickly, too, doesn't he?
Oh, immediately. He feels anguish, sure, but he swiftly starts justifying his actions. He blames Franz's scream for ruining his attempt to bribe the Thrasher, claims a man should be able to control himself at decisive moments.
Blaming the victim.
Totally. He even convinces himself the Thrasher had shown the gleam in his eyes at the sight of the banknotes, suggesting the guy was just holding out for more money and that Kay himself would have spared no expense.
Building a whole alternate story.
This rapid rationalization isn't just self-preservation. It's Kafka's stark commentary on how easily our minds can fabricate comfort out of complicity, right? Blurring the lines of personal responsibility when faced with something truly awful. Kay actively constructs a narrative to absolve himself, even convincing himself he was this close to succeeding. He even realizes later that Franz's claim about his fiancée was probably a pardonable lie to get petty, stripping away the emotional weight of the guard's desperation.
It's a chilling look at how quickly we can become accomplices through inaction and self-deception. But the horror, it isn't over, is it?
No. The next day, Kay's distracted, weary, almost out of habit. He passes the lumber room again, opens the door. He's expecting darkness, expecting it to be finished. But he's completely taken aback by what he sees.
Don't tell me.
And this is where Kafka just throws us into the deep end of the surreal. Everything is unchanged, was just as it had been when he had opened the door the previous evening.
No.
The forms, the ink bottles, the Thrasher with his cane, the guards still fully dressed, the candle on the shelf, everything. And of course, the guards immediately start moaning again, calling out, "Sir!"
Oh my God.
The profound point here isn't just that the scene persists, but that in this system, punishment isn't a finite event. It's a perpetual state. A looping nightmare that refuses to be erased. It maybe symbolizes the inescapable nature of guilt, or the court's relentless, unceasing grip. It really asks, does the suffering ever truly end in this world?
That is an utterly nightmarish image, a literal haunting. So Kay slams the door shut again, thumps it with his fists, almost in tears, and then he runs to the messengers. But not to report it, right?
No, not to report the ongoing thrashing, not to get help. He runs to them to demand the room be cleared out. He cries, "It's about time you cleared out that lumber room. We're drowning in filth."
Drowning in filth. What does this desperate plea for, like cleanliness and order, tell us about Kay's state of mind, about his ultimate failure here?
Well, this final act just showcases Kay's profound psychological distress, doesn't it? And his ultimate failure to intervene in any meaningful way. He waits until he's sure the messengers won't leave with him, then just goes home, weary and his mind a blank.
Trying to forget.
He's trying to erase the physical evidence of the horror he witnessed, hoping, maybe, to banish the experience from his mind, too. But it was futile, right? You can't just tidy away a moral stain like that. His demand to clear out the filth is a desperate attempt to regain control and distance himself from the inescapable reality of the court's pervasive injustice, even as that injustice has now deeply compromised him. He's not fighting the system anymore. He's just trying to scrub its residue off his own consciousness.
So what does this whole deep dive into the Thrasher really mean for you, our listener? It presents this chilling portrait of a system that just relentlessly inflicts punishment, where appeals to reason or compassion, they're just useless.
Yeah, totally futile.
And maybe more profoundly, it shows how witnessing injustice can swiftly erode your own personal integrity, how it can lead to complicity, to profound psychological distress. Kay's journey is a stark reminder of the immense pressure individuals face when confronted with overwhelming, inexplicable power.
And zooming out a bit, Kay's story really highlights a profound human tendency, I think, to rationalize, to deflect blame, and just shy away from uncomfortable truths, especially when direct confrontation feels impossible or dangerous.
We've all felt that, maybe.
His internal justifications, his final desperate act demanding the lumber room be cleared. It speaks to a universal desire, maybe, to mentally and physically erase experiences that become unbearable burdens. It's a defense mechanism, sure, but one that comes at a pretty significant cost to one's own conscience, one's own humanity.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting for you to consider. Kay goes to these extreme lengths to cover up and erase the horrific event he witnessed, demanding the lumber room be cleared out. What does this tell us about that human instinct to try and clean up or discard uncomfortable truths, both from our own minds and from the spaces around us, rather than actively confronting them, even when confrontation feels impossible? What uncomfortable truth are you maybe tempted to simply clear out rather than face directly, and what's the real cost of that kind of evasion? Something to think about.